our city attorney, chief of staff, administrative staff here, and also our deputy clerk. Today's date is Monday, May 11th, 2026. This is the City of Romulus City Council Special Meeting Public Hearing, and the purpose of this hearing is for the public to have an opportunity to provide input on the proposed 26-27 fiscal year city budgets pursuant to Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter. And at this time, we will have roll call. Councilwoman Abdo. Councilman Jones. Councilman Wilhide. Here. Councilman Bullock. Here. Councilman Wadsworth.
Here.
And Councilwoman Talley. Here. And Councilwoman Roscoe is so noted. Tonight's public hearing agenda reads as follows. Number 1, roll call. Number 2, agenda. Number 3, public hearing. The discussion is 2026-27 fiscal year budget per Chapter 9, Section 9.3 of the Romulus City Charter. Number 4 is public comment. Number 5 is adjournment. And the motion would be in order to accept this public hearing agenda as presented.
So moved.
Support.
It's been motioned by Ms. Abdul, seconded by Mr. Jones for the approval of this public hearing meeting. Mr. Abdul? Yes. Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhide?
Yes.
Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, motion approved.
Thank you, council. We're now at number 3 on the agenda, the public hearing discussion. And I'm assuming our Director of Finance, Maria Ferris, is going to lead in this discussion.
Thank you. Good evening, council, mayor, elected officials, administrative staff, if any. Patty, thank you for being here. Okay, the other mic was not working.
Okay.
Okay.
So as our amazing clerk just said, this public hearing is tonight, May 11th, being held according to the Romulus City Charter, Section 9.3. Just a little recap of the other 2 budget sessions that we had. So we previously met on Monday, April 14th, as well as on April 28th, both at 6:30. At that time, we went over the general fund, some of the major funds, as well as we discussed any new funds, which we have not had any new funds this year. Just some highlights and a recap. Just talking about the general fund. So the general fund is projected to come over the anticipated amended budget for the revenues, and that was because of the fluctuation and positive changes of revenue through the year. So that is very good that revenues came over the amended budget. We're expecting the state shared revenues to be up a little bit, about 2%. However, I know some of the projections or estimates are a little higher. However, I'm going to be very conservative, and we're going to just do an estimate number of 2%. Also, too, overall, within the whole general fund, all the taxes are up by 2.6%. And the increase for property taxes for this year, that for all taxable value, is 2.9%. Okay. Some other additional highlights is we're anticipating a 3.1% decrease in revenue, and that's just overall just because of some one-time grants, and however, that will change each year if there's any opportunities to get grants or any other one-time funding. Also, too, we only expect a 3% increase of expenditures, and again, that is due to diligent and responsible approach that is taken during our budgeting process. Also, too, that is consistent with the rate of inflation of 3%. Just some highlights on the roads funds, and again, this was from the last presentation, but thought I would celebrate this again. Local and major street revenue is projected to be slightly higher this year, especially in the 25-26 budget. And as we talked last time, we received a $5.1 million grant, as well as $1.2 million for the STAG grant. So there are some revenues that touched a few different funds. Also, we talked about the big capital projects. So for roads is Wade and Superior, 4th Street subdivision, Dorset Street, Harrison, and Leroy. And all of these will be in 2026. Another increase is potentially that they're showing is an increase in state revenue sharing, the Act 51, around 3%. That's being very conservative. So let's talk about the current budget that we're proposing. So overall, the increases to the 26-27 budget, these were increased investments in the police department, city parks, infrastructure, and the motor vehicle fund and their city's fleet. We'll be purchasing a new fire rescue, a recreation van, a detective F-150, and a few patrol cars with upfitting. And that will be within the motor vehicle fund as well as some of the forfeiture funds. When we go through the budget process, we have usually one main objective. We have a lot of objectives, but our main objective is to preserve fund balance by asking the expenditures that have been deemed absolutely necessary. The needs versus wants approach. So when we start this process, we start in January. We do the budget kickoff in January, around January 8th, and we wrap it up mid-March, and that's where we bring our prelim budget to council by April 1st. So once that preliminary budget's done and distributed to administrative staff, council, and elected officials, finance, I'm always available. Me or Gary is always available if you have any questions. So getting to the best part of this meeting is the purpose of the meeting is to hear from the public if they have any questions. So there's no public here. Patty, do you have any questions? So I will move on since there's no public here and just go with the next steps. So from the budget aspect, on May 26th, I will come to council with the Appropriations Act as well as the tax levy. So that will be exactly what we're allowed to levy for the taxes, as well as it's going to section off each area of every fund and how much we're going to spend. And that will be the General Appropriations Act, as well as I will bring one on behalf of the 34th District Court.
I have a question.
Yes.
Just for knowledge and just putting it out on the record, when you say a balanced budget, what does that mean?
Well, that's a very good question.
I can't even steal that because Mr. Councilman Will High brother, we were talking and I couldn't explain it. So I said, we're going to ask the expert.
So we always have a balanced budget. That's
right.
However, our goal is when you propose a budget, that you have your revenues and you have your expenses. The goal is to have enough revenue so you don't have to go into or use any fund reserves.
Gotcha.
Okay? So historically, each year, we've had that where we have not, we project to use fund balance, but every year we have not. Okay? But the last couple years, especially this year, we will dip into some fund balance. Okay? And that's because of the increased investment to public safety, the parks, infrastructure, and as well as the fleet. So I know we use balanced as, we'll just say that we have not had to receive any loans from any other funds and I don't want to spiral it, but it's balanced is whereas we have enough fund balance, which is appropriate and the best practices, as well as, hoping again, we anticipate revenues exceed expenses this year.
Gotcha. No, thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate that.
Any other questions?
I got Madam Chairman, if I can.
Yeah, Mr.
To the
Wadsworth.
chair. Are there any bonds that are going to be paid off in this next fiscal year? Are we getting close to any of them?
Not, that is a city's responsibility. So we do have the TIF bonds, and that's the last year for this. We have, which ones? For the RAC. Yeah, the TIF RAC bonds.
Is Beverly Road paid off now?
That's been paid off a couple years ago.
Okay,
yeah.
Okay, fine.
Yep, that was like a special assessment.
Thank you.
Bless you. We do, I mean, I don't have the amortization schedules in front of me, but there are some that's going to be maturing probably, what, 17 years? About 10 years.
All right.
And the bond payments for those, we refunded, saved the city money to the best rate that we could.
Okay.
We refunded or refinanced any bonds that were eligible for a lower rate.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a question.
Yes.
To the
We were
chair.
Through the chair.
Thank you.
We were discussing issues with the court. I have a hard time voting for our budget when we still have the issues of what the court brought up. Are we going to get some sort of resolution before this?
I am going to say, I don't want to speak on behalf of the court. I can say that when I bring the appropriations, I'm going to bring the appropriations, and it's going to show you all of the city's expenses, and then we bring the appropriations for the court as well. So the ones that you've made, and I have last year's budget here, when you have made and improved it, it was on the appropriations for the court and our city. I hate to Yeah, so I would have to say that we do have some time. I'm going to defer the mayor,
Yeah, what's going
please.
on?
I don't want to keep stumbling here. I am just responsible for the city's budget. I can tell you what's in all 237 pages of it. Okay.
Right.
So I'll defer to Dave, please. And thank
Sure.
you. Save me here.
Sure, through the chair. So as the council directed at the previous council meeting, I did send a letter to the chief judge, Brian Oakley, requesting the information that I was directed to request, which was some documentation, detailed breakdown, and information regarding the additional $200,000 being requested for fringe benefits, and an updated proposed budget reflecting the direct city funding from June 30th, 2023 of $455,213 that Maria pointed out to me as on the detailed budget that wasn't, actually pointed out that it wasn't there. So to give us an updated budget proposal, column, spreadsheet, whatever it is, with regard to that. And as far as I'm aware, we have not received any information or correspondence back. I have not, I checked my email. Again, I didn't see anything from the court regarding that. And I'll double check right now. I actually checked from a particular email address.
So
but I
they're
can
just
double-check.
expecting us to pass $200,000 without documenting what it's for?
So we requested the information, they did not provide it. So it's up to the city council to act however it wants to act with respect
Right.
to the budget numbers or the budget it has in front, and the information that it has in front of it.
Can we vote to accept the budget except for that $200,000?
Yes, you.
Let that pass.
this-
Pardon?
Okay, look, can we keep order, please?
Yes, all right, through the chair. So the answer is that the budget is presented to you, not only from Maria on behalf of the different city departments, but also the court, is for consideration for the city council to approve, question, modify, whatever it wants to do. So just like any of the other, the budget numbers or the other departments that you want to look at, the court is one that you can look at and approve a different number that has been proposed. That is within your authority to do so. You're the budgeting authority, ultimately. Everything here, like Maria has, is a proposed budget based upon information that's being provided to her from the different directors on what they need to operate or what they believe they need to operate. It's up to the council to evaluate that to see whether it makes sense based upon your duties, which are the ultimate decision makers for the city finances on behalf of the taxpayers.
So whatever is decided, it has to be done before we approve the budget on May 28th or 26th, 26th?
26. Yes,
Okay,
26.
it has to be, okay.
No, well, I mean, that would be, my understanding, that would be the night that you decide, based
That
upon the
night.
yeah, sure. I mean, because right now, this is just a study session proposal and says, here are the numbers for you to consider, and you guys are to do what you want with them. Which, now, we are obligated to pass a budget,
Right.
right? I mean, we are obligated to pass a budget, but as far as what the amount of that budget is ultimately up to the council. Obviously, the city council relies upon its directors, its consultants, its the administration, everything to provide them with the numbers and to question it. And the court is no different than that.
Gotcha.
Through the chair.
Yes, Ms. Abdo?
So if we made a proposal to pass the budget, would we do the amendment right then? I'm just looking at procedures, because I will pass the budget, but not with that $200,000 that they're not telling us what they're using it for.
So there, it wouldn't be necessary, well, I don't know if it's an actual amendment, is it an amendment? I mean, they have a proposed budget, so there has been there's nothing to amend, so I think you're just approving the budget and a particular number. And you can characterize it as, I'm changing or amending the number that's been proposed to us to this number for this reason, right? Would that be?
Well, so when I bring the Appropriations Act, I bring it on a line item for the city, right? So it's all the sections up to section 40, and that ends with the millage. Then I bring another appropriations, it's just a full amount, and it says the amount of the proposed budget historically what they have proposed. So like, for example, they gave me a budget of 3.9 million. I had a one-page letter saying, this is appropriations on behalf of the court, and then you would concur with that. My assumption is if we're going to do something prior, maybe I need to edit that number prior to coming to council.
Okay.
That's what I was.
If there's some direction proposed or some options to,
Yeah.
if there's two options or one option, or you could be requested that right now.
Okay, okay, so I could present to,
The council, what it thinks the appropriate,
Number
what it
would be-
wants to consider. Sure.
If I
Mr.
can-
Wadsworth?
Or options. Yeah, or options, or options.
Okay, Mr. Wadsworth?
In the past, and we've done this in the past, for some of you folks that weren't here, the person that makes the motion to approve the budget makes the motion with the exception of the 34th District Court, and that'll be a separate vote. And we've done that in the past. I think Mrs. Abdul was here and we did that.
So I think you gave us some detail. I mean, we can't do a separate vote, can we, for the court budget, can we?
No, so I think, the court is, or the city is the funding unit for the court.
Right.
So the opinion is the city is obligated to pass a budget for the court. We cannot, or the city cannot not pass a budget. It's obligated to fund the court for the next fiscal year. Now, with respect to what the amount is to fund that, the city council makes the decision, presumably based upon presentation, information, documentation, reasoning, whatever it is, to support the request that's being made.
Which is why the discussion about the amending the number, we were talking about with Maria.
Correct, because
Okay.
there was a 3.9 number, and what's being proposed, my understanding, my recollection is $200,000 more from the previous year's budget. And that was the question of what is the $200,000 being used for?
I
The
think-
response was fringe benefits. I think there was a more
Yeah.
detailed question by Councilman Will Hyde.
Oh, Mr. Will High?
Looking at this, and I think that what was it, 480?
455,
455.
213.
No, she's amazing.
I think that should be added to the 200,000. If they don't want to, or have enough respect for this body to send information that we requested, I don't think that they need that much.
The 455, you're saying?
Plus the 200,000. And it's, in my opinion, it's like, if they don't want to tell us what it's used for, well, you know what? We'll buy a couple police cars.
If I, through the chair, just because I'm not a finance person, we have our finance people here. perhaps, Maria, you want to explain to them, there's the 3.9 plus the 200,000, so they're asking for $4.1 million in a budget. But you had pointed out, at least in the documents that were provided, that there was $455,000 that wasn't accounted for in the numbers they provided. Perhaps you want to explain to them, how does that factor into what decision, or maybe it doesn't factor into their decision as far as the ultimate budget number? You know, because it's something that was from 2 years ago that was used to fund or to make up a difference or something like that. So maybe.
Okay, to the chair and the council. So as of 6/30/2023, they didn't document the 455,213. So that flows through all of their budgets. So what I did is I took the number and I put the number in of how it should have been and looked at how the flow on what they presented. So
What does it look like?
it looks like there's more money, obviously not recording the 455, that there is in fund balance. Again, without audited numbers and the substantial support to validate those numbers, I can only just take it on what they presented to me. So if you would like, I could present two appropriations to council with everyone's approval of the 3.9 or the 4.1, and I guess if that's how we want to move forward, we can, and then we can vote on it that way.
So present the two appropriations and then we decide which one.
I could do one without the 200,000 and one as the court presented it.
And what about the 455?
The 455 was for accounts payables that we reimbursed the court. So they submitted to the city and said that they had a shortfall. We requested the appropriate documentation and we issued checks on behalf of that
Gotcha.
amount. It's documented in our audit.
In our audit, but
Correct.
not in theirs. Okay.
So as of 6/30/2023, we gave the court 697,000. 455,000 of that was accounts payable, 455,213. The
Right.
difference is we supported and paid. I had to book their actual current healthcare that they didn't pay for. So when the auditors came here, even though they're part of our plan, I still had to book that the city was subsidizing and paying for that. So if you pulled it back in the audit, it's around 700,000.
Gotcha. So I guess we need to decide how we want to see that,
Through the chair.
Ms. Abdo.
I get the feeling that most of us agree that they can't tell us what they're using the 200,000 for. Then let's just present the budget minus that 200,000 we sent them.
Okay.
Does that make sense? We don't have to get all, just come to us with a budget minus the 200,000.
Okay, yeah, I can,
Minus the 20,000, so do we have, where we're allocating a direct outlay for this upcoming,
yes.
how much is that?
I put in this year's budget 550,000, and it's a line item within the general fund.
Yeah,
And that amount I've reduced because the last couple of years, they have not had AP requests.
okay,
Just for the current and retirees portion. So I wanted to make sure that we had enough money to pay for those payments.
gotcha. And that's what that's allocated for?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay,
Now, if something happens or changes, and I have to do a budget amendment because they need support
Right.
before we are responsible,
right,
then I will come to council, but it, reduces our fund balance and doesn't look very, like, I want to do like a really true picture of what's going on within the general fund.
okay.
Now, I can, to the chair and council, and, I could, I'm just trying to visualize this, I will submit the original court budget less that, and we'll document those together.
Okay,
And then I will look to the administration to help how we present that. Because this will be a little different than we've done before.
and when you say less that, you mean the 200,000?
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, less for the fringe benefits.
Gotcha.
That's my understanding. When you go line for line, that's where we see, I think it was like 1.5
Okay.
to 1 point, yes, increase.
Gotcha, okay. Any more discussion? Okay. So you'll bring that to
Correct. I will work with administration, mayor, chief
Okay.
of staff, and our city attorney. And then we'll see how that looks, and then have that to you by May 26th.
Sounds
And
good.
then it'll be prepared, and we'll have that documented.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So after that meeting, the next is July 1st. That's when our budget
Mhm.
becomes, once it's adopted, it becomes effective.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Number 4 is public comment. Madam Chair, seeing that we have no one from the public that's in the audience, we do have our librarian that's here. May we close that part out?
Yes,
and move on
ma'am.
to number 5, which is adjournment. The
So
time
moved.
is 6:56.
So moved.
Support.
Okay. Motion by Mr. Wadsworth, seconded by Ms. Abdul for the adjournment of this special meeting, public hearing. Mr. Wadsworth?
Yes.
Ms. Abdul?
Yes.
Mr. Wilhite?
Yes.
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Mr. Bullock?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, we are adjourned. Next meeting is 7:30.